Hi everybody, this is Crazy Homemaker. I'm going to give you a little bit of a look at what's going on in my garden right now. It's stinking cold outside. This is our temperature here on the 11th of January at about 9 o'clock, 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't even know what time it is anymore. Let me tell you, I've been released from my position, and my last day was December 31st. So now I'll be able to work in my garden and do a whole bunch of more fun things and hopefully get some nice videos set up for you guys to see. But right now we're just going to go take a quick look at what's in my garden. I'm working on getting a few new boxes put in there. Some of my boxes need repaired. Our soil here in South Carolina is really terrible. And what happens is whenever you overwinter your soil, or even halfway in the summer, if I decide to plant something, I have to sift the soil because I call it roots from nowhere, but it's more like a lichen that grows in our soil. And you can put fresh compost in there and it'll still grow from underneath the ground. It'll come up with spores or something. I don't know what the deal is, but let me turn you around and show you what's new. Okay, we just made this the other day. This is my hardening off box. I'm going to, on top of this and the other one on the other side there, I'm going to place a stick, which I have hanging right here. I don't want them laying on the ground, so I jacked them up on this short fence that keeps the rabbits out. I'm going to put a stick over top of that and then a plastic cover on it to get enough room for when my plants start getting larger in the greenhouse. I can put them out here. So probably about February or March, stuff will start be going out here. Our weather's been unseasonably warm right now, so I can't bring it out now. I'm going to take these strawberries here and the strawberries in that, the little baby strawberries there, and I'm going to rebuild this box right here. It's a mess. It's rotting pretty well. It's going to be probably a half foot longer than it is right now, so that means it'll be about 9 foot long. And I'm going to make it 3 foot wide instead of the 18 inches that I have now. I was making them according to the Mittlider gardening, and for me, I don't have a whole lot of space, so I'm just going to extend it just, a little bit more so that I can grow on two sides instead of just, one small section down the middle, because as you see, there's a lot of room in here. It's probably 4.5 foot wide here and about 3.5, maybe 4 foot wide in here, and I can afford to use that little section, a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and take care of it by justify making it a little bit wider. This here is my trellis, my Mittlider gardening trellis. I love the method. I love what they stand for. I am trying my hardest to get it done, and it's working pretty good. So this box here was more or less setting for a year. I had put cherry tomatoes in it before. I didn't get a real bumper crop in there, but I think I've finally perfected what I need to do to get a bumper crop. So I'm going to leave this one as it is. I'm going to probably trellis some cucumbers on it, or maybe even cherry tomatoes. I'm not quite sure. And I'm just excited to get this one back into use. Okay, so, and here's the one I'm repairing. This one here, this is my garlic. My garlic started coming up. I didn't get all my garlic out, so I just replanted all my garlic in here. I amended the soil quite a bit, pulled up all the garlic, replanted everything that I saw that was coming up out of, growing without my help. And I'm seeing some nice, a little bit thicker stalks than I had previously, and I'm excited for this because I didn't get any cloves last year. I got single bulbs because the weather did not get cold enough to split the bulbs. Okay, and beside that, I built this up. I added this on. This used to be a garden that was all these blocks right here. I made a block garden because I didn't have the supplies to make this. Now that my husband has a sawmill, I get his end cuts here, and I can use those. I can replace them at will whenever they start rotting, so this is a good thing. But I built this up to grow my carrots. I watched some people in England, Terry King and a guy named MuddyBootz. His name's Nigel. And they make a box. They drill holes into the soil, and then they fill it with really soft soil so that their carrots grow really, really long. And to save my life, I cannot grow a carrot here. I have not, in the past 20-some years that I've lived in South Carolina, been able to grow anything other than a Parisian one, which is like, you know, a quarter-sized carrot. And my dogs love carrots, and so of course they got all the carrots. This past summer, I had a trellised garden, and the trellis was halfway in the middle. I moved it over to the end because I think I can grow the, last year was cherry tomatoes on here. It was a bumper crop. I had never seen my cherry tomatoes take off like they did last year, but like I said, I believe I perfected the reason why, and I'm going to do it again, and I'll probably take you along on that journey. But I moved the fence clear to the side so that the tomato plants can grow up through here. I'll weave them up through here and until they get up on the top, and I might clip the top and just let them grow. I let the suckers grow last year, and I had never seen anything so beautiful in my whole life. And on the inside of here, I planted, I think, radishes on this side, and on the other side over here, I did the same. I moved it out and I planted green beans. And of course, the rabbits came and they clipped all the green beans, and this is a later crop of green beans I hadn't removed yet. But this side here, on the back side, was parsley. And I showed you those last year. The little rodents were eating my parsley roots and pulling them through the holes. So I'm going to plant parsley in buckets this year. And then I had radishes here, and the radishes just didn't do anything. This over here was my strawberry garden. It wasn't very long. So what I'm doing this year is replacing all of these here because they're very old and very soft. I'm going to replace all of that with the wood like this. This was part of my block garden that I had. You see the blocks to the right over here, and the end cuts from my husband's sawmill. I made 40, I think it's 48 inches wide garden here. So what I plan to do is on this side, and let's see if I can get closer. On this side and on this side, I'm going to put cattle fencing, which I have a lot of cattle fencing. You can see some leaning up here. We'll put cattle fencing on either side, and I'm going to grow paste tomatoes. This is going to be an extension of that when I replace it. I'll leave the divider in the middle just for support, but I'm going to replace this 8-10 foot section here, make it wider, as wide as that, and do the same. I want to make spaghetti sauce this year, and hopefully I can get that done. This was my white cherry tomatoes and one pear, yellow pear. In the fall, I planted some peas, and of course my peas didn't come up until like 3 weeks ago. I started noticing this pea plant, and it is just loving being out in this weather. One pea plant out of about 30. Right here, this is my bucket garden. There's no bottoms on the buckets, just so that I can water better. And I had my cucumbers on here last year. They didn't do too well. And what I thought was really, really crazy is the one cucumber that I planted later is right here. And it's been surviving cold weather and all kinds of stuff So I'm going to just leave it in there and see what happens with it. If it grows up in the summer or in the springtime, I don't know. But we'll find out. And of course, a nice little trellis here. This, I planted some onions. You see those 2 white packets right here. I planted 2 rows of old onion seeds, and so far nothing's come up. We'll see what happens in the springtime because I planted these really, really late. And I'm cleaning out this area. These are just a couple of metal pipes that I had that I filled with soil and was trying to grow sweet potatoes and daikon radish, and did not work. I think the metal got too hot and more or less killed the seed. But I'm going to take this whole area. Here's a leaf bin. It's an old dog cage, and I just chunk my leaves into there, which works pretty good. This was filled to the top, and now it's sunk down. I'm going to put all those leaves in that new box where I'm going to put the paste tomatoes. But this whole area from here over to that box, I'm going to make a set up platforms for kratky lettuce. I grew that really well last year. I'm going to do it again this year. And this is my mint. I have mint in here, and I was growing some cherry tomatoes on the back. They never did anything because it's too shaded. So I'm going to try to figure out, I'm going to take this fencing here and move it over for my paste tomatoes so that I could walk around there. And I don't know what I'm going to plant in here. I'll probably plant extras of like maybe lettuce and spinach until it gets too hot and they bolt. But these were some trees I got from a mail order seed company. These blue spruce, these 3 in the back, did not take. This one here is a hazelnut. It did not take. So I'm just hoping against hope that by spring there's some roots on there. I haven't checked, and maybe they'll perk up, maybe they'll do something. I don't know. So in my mint I have peppermint, spearmint, and catnip. And which one is which, I couldn't tell you because a lot of them were volunteers. So pretty much for my front garden here, I don't know what else I could tell you about it right at this moment, but we'll be seeing some more stuff. I have a whole bunch of things growing in the greenhouse on a separate video. I'll probably show you that. And take care, everybody, and happy gardening.